time is your most precious commodity. It's the only thing that when you run out of it, it's gone. You're gone. So people aren't
existential.
people aren't inclined to waste their time on something like this, trying to chase a feeling that they had before.
2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the show, people. Welcome to the show.
Eat my shorts.
So here is to conversation.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Welcome to the Cash Exchange.
Welcome.
What's up?
Not much. I am transitioning jobs right now, so get
How's that
to
going?
meet a new staff sometime soon. It's good. The service industry is kind of the same no matter where you go, so it's going to be the same soup just reheated.
Haha. Speaking
How
of,
have you
I
been?
just made some potato soup last Sunday, and it was fantastic.
It's not
One of
soup
my
season yet. It's still
specialties.
100 degrees outside. What are you doing?
Emily was sick,
That's
so it's my
Be a good
go-to.
fiance. Don't mind me.
I'm pretty good, all things considered. Living my best life, best I can. Just out here chugging away, man.
Still pushing for those. Oh shit. Whoops. My current podcast setup, because I haven't replaced my webcam yet. I have to prop up my laptop, and right now it's on my new collection of DVDs because I am tired of streaming services. So I'm trying to build up my DVD collection again.
Oh, what you got?
Currently, it's just a bunch of 2000s comedies.
Not another teen movie?
Not yet.
Superbad?
I haven't found that one yet. I went to Half Price Blitz and just got a bunch of ones from the clearance section. So right now I have 51st Dates, 40-Year-Old Virgin, The Breakup, Anchorman, and Rush Hour, which is still in its plastic with a Blockbuster sticker from 2006.
That's like a collector's item.
I think so.
You can't open that.
I don't know what germs are in that DVD case after 19 years of being in the plastic.
Yeah.
I don't remember what was going around in 06. I was too busy being 7.
Well, yeah. All right, you ready for today's trace items?
What you got for me?
What do New Coke, Ford Pintos, and the Microsoft Zune have in common?
The only thing, and I'm not sure this is the right car, the only thing that I think that I know about the Ford Pinto was that it was the exploding one.
Yeah.
Because of a live episode of Stuff You Should Know back when I was deep on that podcast.
Have you ever seen the movie Top Secret with Val Kilmer? It was like a Naked Gun movie, but it was spy based. And one of the gags in it is that this Ford Pinto goes rolling down this hill at top speed. It starts to gradually slow down and you think everything's going to be fine. And then it just barely taps a tree and then just boom, explodes.
Okay.
Because in the designing of the Ford Pinto, the gas tank was not reinforced and it was also exposed. And so all it would take is a little spark and then boom goes the Pinto.
That is genuinely horrifying. They'd made plenty of cars before then. Why did they think that was just added protection that they didn't need?
They're just trying to cut costs.
And did they? How many times did they get sued for the...
Oh, quite a bit. And then all the recalls.
Yeah.
But it wasn't... Did you know that the Ford Edsel was the inspiration for the car that Homer built?
Oh, I didn't know there was an inspiration for the car that Homer built. It's so ridiculous. I didn't think it could have come from
Yep, came from the Ford
real
Edsel.
world things.
So I wasn't sure which one to put on this list, but I went with the Pinto because it's got a little more name recognition. But if you get a chance, look up the Ford Edsel, Edsel.
Okay, so the Ford Pinto,
Yes,
New Coke, and what was the third one?
the Microsoft Zune.
Absolute failures of products.
That
To be
was
fair,
pretty close.
I think that the Microsoft Zune failed because it just came out at the wrong time. It's like the twin films
Yeah,
where they're just basically the same thing. And it came
that's
out too close to the iPod.
that's. I would say that that's kind of fair. I would also say that usually with twin films, they're the same caliber. It's not like one was straight to DVD and then the other one was. You don't consider those twin films.
Yeah.
The straight to DVD is just a knockoff.
Sure.
But if both movies are in the theaters, they're usually of the same quality. And the Zune was a total piece of garbage compared to the iPod.
Fair.
And that leads us into today's topic, which is spin-offs and new iterations of things that we don't really need, don't really want, and sometimes all around just suck.
Okay. I already have a lot of thoughts when it comes to this topic, but I need to know before I go on any kind of rants, is this specific to spin-offs or are we doing the prequel, sequels?
Well, I didn't know. I don't know what is, because I was dancing between reboots and spin-offs. So what is your definition of a reboot and what's your definition of a spin-off?
I would consider a reboot something that has been off of the air for a while or something that was made a good amount of time ago and would also contain all of the same characters. So, like, if you think of, what is it, Seinfeld and Frasier?
No,
Frasier was
Cheers
a
and
spinoff.
Frasier.
Cheers and Frasier. If you think of like Cheers and Frasier, that's a spinoff because it's not the same people. It is a person from it, but it's not inherently the same thing. But if they rebooted it with all of the same characters or the same bar or something like that, then it would be a reboot of Cheers.
Okay. Yeah, Frasier is in its whole own category because it has a spin-off. It is a spin-off, and then it also has a reboot.
That's a reboot?
Yeah, they rebooted it, I don't know, last year before.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it went off with a fizzle.
I could imagine.
There's no Niles in it.
Hmm.
Like, it's a yin without a yang.
I imagine if this one ends up in the shorts, I'm going to get grilled for it again, but I've never seen Frasier or Cheers for that matter. They're both before my time. I just know that they exist and were culturally significant TV.
I didn't like Frasier. I didn't like Cheers. I've tried to sit down and watch a couple episodes, and just not for me. It's real boring. It's where Woody Harrelson got a start.
Yeah.
Made Ted Danson famous. Danny DeVito was
that what made Danny DeVito famous? I thought that was
no,
Taxi.
it was Taxi. Just Taxi. No, maybe not. Rhea Perlman, his wife, though. It's where she has the most popularity. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong about the Danny DeVito thing, but yeah, it's just not for me. But I loved Frasier. Frasier was a good show. Yeah, it always had like an air of just being pretentious and haughty, but when you get down to it, it's a pretty good show.
That is the general vibe that I get from Kelsey Grammer, regardless of what I've seen him in. And also his daughter, Spencer Grammer, also gives off that like kind of uppity vibe.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably something there. I mean, it depends on how far you want to go back with this. Because in a way, in a sense, 80% of television since the, I don't know, 60s, 50s have all had the same formula. They're all rebooted, different iterations of one show that most people link all these back to. Do you know what show that is?
I know I've
Borderline Alcoholic Husband, the doting housewife, the
Oh,
idiot best
honeymooners?
friend. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
not the route that I
amazing
was gonna go.
how many shows you can trace back to the honeymooners and how many follow that exact same formula.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the early 2000s, they've tried to break out of it, I guess, a little bit, but, like, every sitcom that came out was a overweight husband who was
Mm-hmm.
kind of an asshole.
Violent,
The
boorish,
There was
alcoholic.
the wife who was just a step removed from a Valium every day.
Uh, the idiot go along with a best friend.
Mhm.
The wives are always way too hot for the husbands.
I could think of, like, 10 sitcoms that immediately popped into my head as soon as, like, the modern day honeymooners thing came up. Like, it's everywhere,
It is.
or at least I've maybe watched too many of those shows.
Or maybe that's just what you're into, and so that's what's top of mind.
I don't think that I've watched a show like that, save for, like, Family Guy or The Simpsons, in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't think make as many of them anymore because they don't play the same these days, especially the closer that you get to the honeymooners kind of storyline.
Oh, so I mean, pal writing the kisser when you're talking to your wife doesn't hit as hard as it used to.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
imagine that it does.
I'm gonna give you a one-way ticket to the moon.
There's a joke in Family Guy about that where he says, "To the moon, Lois," and she goes, "To the moon." The joke here is that you're going to punch me so hard that my body leaves the atmosphere, flies into orbit. You think that's funny? Well, I don't now.
Uh,
It's wild that that was the basis for a great deal of our television these days.
doesn't that show we've made progress? That those kind of sitcoms aren't as prevalent anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was definitely a good sign that we don't get as many of those anymore.
All right, well, then there we go. See, we're not back at the Stone Age.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to claim we are, but we aren't. When you think of a failed reboot spinoff, what do you think? What comes to mind first?
I Met Your Father.
Mm, yeah, I was gonna put that on the list, but I haven't watched it, so I have nothing to add to it except um, just the fact that I think one thing that always gets ignored whenever these, hey, we should do a reboot. Hey, our pockets are getting a little light. How can we inject some real quick cash without having to do any real work? If the original product soured people to the whole product by the end, then maybe you don't want to have people relive that because then they're just going to remember how crappy the last product ended.
Sure.
And I remember that being my opinion whenever I heard that there was going to be a spin-off reboot, whatever, to How I Met Your Mother.
It was not good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was unnecessary, like all of the spin-offs and reboots are anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
it, for one thing, if you haven't watched it, not really worth it. It ends on a cliffhanger, so you don't know who the father is. They did kind of a like My Name Is Earl style ending thing where the showrunner was
Mm-hmm.
like, "This is how I think things would have gone." Um,
Uh-huh.
and at least given the first two seasons, it makes no plot sense because the two characters that are supposed to end up together to create this hypothetical child that the mom is talking to in the end um, don't have like anything together. So it would have taken probably like a good amount of time for them to make any of that make sense, or it was maybe going to be like a one night stand thing, which would have felt cheap at the end anyway.
Yeah.
It's not a good spin. Did
Huh.
not need to be made. And they pulled in some of the original cast members. So they had Kobe Smulders,
Mm. Marvel money ran
Neil,
out.
I mean, she was only Maria Hill. How much money do you think she was making? So they brought back in Kobe Smulders for Robin Scherbatsky. They brought in Neil Patrick Harris as Barney Stinson, and I think they brought in one of the other ones. I don't know if it was Allison Hannigan or Jason Segel.
No Schmosby?
They did like a couple of like one-off cameos, and they weren't very long. They weren't just like this fan service, which to be fair, most of this stuff is. But it didn't really try to establish itself as something else. It was just like, hey, do you remember? It's member berries.
Yeah.
It's, hey, do you remember How I Met Your Mother? What if that, but woman? And so the whole thing just fell pretty flat.
It was just Ghostbusters.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, especially like you said, like the end got soured for a lot of people. It's the same kind of problem that the rewatch of How I Met Your Mother now feels a little bit different because all of the characters suck a lot more than I think most people realized going in the first time around.
Is that because of societal differences? Like you just see them in a different light because of society and how it is now? Or is it just you are older and so you have more experience with maybe things that happen in the show and you're like, this is a total dick bag?
I think it's a little of both. So as far as the Barney Stinson thing goes, like that was just a product of early 2000s TV. Yeah. Especially because I think they thought that they could get away with more of it since Neil Patrick Harris was a gay man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they could just play him as just this monster to women.
Yeah.
Preying on the dumbest human beings that have ever walked the face of the earth. And every woman that's in that show that comes through is almost exclusively just the embodiment of a bimbo.
Yeah.
No shade, but it's lazy writing.
It is.
And Ted sucks. Ted sucks so much. Yeah. It is a hill I will absolutely die on. And I think I remember watching it the first time around and feeling that he was just not a good guy. That like you were supposed to be rooting for him because he was the main character or whatever, but like he's not.
No, he's extremely self-centered, self-serving, and tries to play it off as just being a hopeless romantic. It says something that his idol in the show is Woody Allen. So, you know. But side note about Schmosby, I was listening to an episode of Radio Rental. You know what that is? It's like people come on and tell like actual like scary paranormal stories about themselves. And it's hosted usually by Rainn Wilson as his character Terry Carnation. But for whatever... Huh?
Terry Carnation? Is that from something or is that just his character for it?
That's just his character. I don't know. And for whatever reason, he's been out for this, I don't know, past 6-7 episodes. And there's a guest host. And this one, as soon as he started talking, I was like, that sounds really familiar. And then I was like, I know who this is. This is Schmosby. And it was Josh Radnor.
Nice.
So that's what he's doing. He's doing fill-in spots on podcasts.
Okay. He also has a podcast with one of the guys from Mother, like one of the showrunners.
Is it a rewatch podcast? Oh.
How I Made Your Mother or something like that.
Ugh.
It's a weird title. I don't remember what the actual name is.
That needs to be workshopped.
How I Made Your Mother, yeah.
I think one of the shows that is top of mind for me when I think of failed reboots is Arrested Development. Because I caught it in the early days of Netflix after it had made its run on TV and it had already been canceled. And it is like one of the best written comedy shows I've ever seen. Seasons 1 through 3. I mean, it did lose some steam season 3 because they knew that they were just having to throw everything at the wall to keep from being canceled.
Sure.
But like as far as the cast goes, it's like one of the best ensemble casts. And I got real excited when Netflix announced that they were making a season 4 and that it would come out. And then I watched season 4 and I was no longer excited for season 4 because the problem they ran into was the fact that everyone in the core cast like was very popular, had lots of stuff going on after Arrested Development. And so that meant that they had crazy schedules. And so in order to compensate for that, they decided to do a disjointed season where it ended up being like vignettes that they just mashed together and hoped it would work. And it didn't work. But someone posted a video on YouTube of the entire season in chronological order where it made sense. So one thing led to the other, and then so on until the season was over. And I never got to watch it because Netflix had it ripped down. But from everything I've heard, it made the season like enjoyable and like actually something that you'd want to watch. But I'll never know because it doesn't exist anymore. I'm sure I could find some copy of it somewhere, but I'm not interested in that to that extent anymore. Back then I probably would have, but now I don't really care enough to go hunt it down. There was talks for a little while that Netflix would release the cut, in order to where it actually made sense, but I don't think they ever did that, which sucks because I mean, some of the best jokes on TV are from Arrested Development, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in season 4 if you're willing to ride it out, and if it didn't have the stink of just being ruined by what amounts to just greed.
Yeah. I remember watching season 4, but I don't think I can tell you a single plot point in it.
Uh-uh.
But I regularly quote the at least first season of Arrested Development, like the dead dove don't open bag. Jason Bateman opens it and he goes, I don't know what I expected.
It seems I blew myself prematurely.
It's a banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10? That joke is about to get a little too real.
One thing I'm banned from doing is whenever we're having finance talks, and there is a side of the conversation that's a little more pessimistic than the other side. And I just say there's always money in the banana stand. And one, she's never seen the show, so it makes no sense to her. And two,
Sure.
that's not what she wants to hear when it's financial panic time.
Especially if you consider what happens to the banana stand.
Oh man, I wish I had a money-lined banana stand somewhere.
For reference, don't they burn it down for the insurance money?
Yeah, but then there was way
But the
more
walls
money
are
in the
lined with
walls.
cash.
Yeah. Oh, and then they go back and Michael's like, yeah, see, I took the hint, burned it down, got the insurance money. And then George Sr. strangles him. God, it's such a great show.
Such a good show.
Check it out. Another one that I heard about afterwards, because I was way too young when it came out to be able to enjoy it firsthand. But it's been one of those ones that the show was such a Goliath that you felt like anything that would be related tangentially would just take the helm and would just be just as great. And that's the X-Files. Have you ever seen the X-Files? Are you a Mulder, Scully?
I've seen bits of it. Like I've seen a couple episodes, but I've never actually like sat down and watched it.
Well, I've talked about this before, going back and watching like early 2000s, 90s TV. I'm a big fan. This is like pinnacle, and it is well worth it. You'll see all kinds of people before they got their start in the X-Files. And one of the spin-offs, it's had a couple, and then it's got movies too. One of the spin-offs is called The Lone Gunman, which is based on this trio of people that help Mulder and Scully with their FBI work. And in the show, they're enjoyable characters. Like, they have depth. They're not just, hey, nerd, do this. Here you go. Got it. Let's go catch the bad guys. Like, there's nuance to them. But they can't handle their own show. Like, they wouldn't have been able to, for any extended amount of time, be able to carry an entire show through a season and then to the next season, into the next season. But that's not even what was substantial about this spinoff. It lasted for one season. It aired 13 episodes. One particular episode came out on March 4th of 2001. You want to hear the plot to this episode?
Yeah.
The three protagonists, who are collectively the Lone Gunmen, they manage a website called the Lone Gunmen. That's like a conspiracy website. Discover that there are members of the U.S. government that plan to hijack a plane that is flying into Boston, fly that plane into the World Trade Center, and blame anti-American terrorist groups, or let them claim responsibility for it, in order to start a anti-terrorist war that they can then profiteer off of.
That's fun.
Yeah. Again, aired March 4th, 2001.
This actually aired?
It aired. Yeah. And I mean, as far as things for your show to be known by, it's something that's going to get them talking about your show for forever.
Yeah.
You might get a few more knocks at the door from some people in black suits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, that to be coming from one of the biggest shows at the time, and then to have that be a plot point of your episode, and then 6 months later that thing happens. It's it's one more mark on the simulation side.
I could see that. Yeah, I've never heard of that show, so it's interesting that that's
The Lone Gunman. Yeah, check it out. And watch X-Files while you're at it.
Yeah.
It's Disney. I think it's on Disney now. It was a Fox show. So
it's at least
yeah.
on Hulu then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a laundry list of shows that have either had reboots or spin-offs that were just completely unnecessary. Did you know there was like 4 Knight Rider spin-offs, reboots? The most recent one was, I think it ended like 2 years ago. MacGyver had a reboot.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon.
Hawaii Five-0. You say? What'd you say?
Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah.
Sean William Scott and
Yeah.
Damon Wayans? One of them. I think it's Damon. Never seen that, but
Charlie's Angels. Dallas.
Yeah.
Charmed. What else was there? Just a whole list of shows that were unnecessary and not remembered for anything other than just being a crappy remake of a show that people liked at one point.
I don't feel like you could necessarily talk about spinoffs in 2025 without mentioning the Taylor Sheridan Extended Universe.
Mm.
That one's expansive and near and dear to our hearts since it films
In the
somewhere in the
FT-dub.
midpoint between the two of us.
Yeah.
Well, their new one is filming in Bastrop? Somewhere like Dallas-ish.
Yeah, I know that.
There's a million of them.
I've seen 2 episodes of Yellowstone. That's it.
It gets pretty good.
Yeah.
It
I've
takes a minute.
seen the memes.
Yeah.
That's most of where my knowledge about Yellowstone comes from. How many shows does Tyler have? Taylor Sheridan have?
So off the top of my head, there's Yellowstone. There's 1883, 1923. There's about to be one. I forget what the name of it is. It's going to be Beth Dutton and Rip, who I think is like he manages like the farm hands,
Mm-hmm.
ranch hands. There's one called Madison something that filmed in Fort Worth, downtown Fort Worth, a couple years ago.
Huh. He wrote the screenplay for Hell or High Water. That's like one of my favorite movies.
That is a really good movie.
Yellowstone, 1883, 1923, Landman, Mayor of
Landman.
Kingstown, Tulsa King, Sons of Anarchy, Veronica Mars.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he also wrote on CSI New York.
In his
That's
defense, several of those are not spin-offs.
No, but I'm just curious. He leans into the cowboy thing pretty hard these days.
Yeah. I mean, he owns 4 Sixes, which is a pretty like decent sized ranch, and they make wines.
Yeah.
And like those pre-mixed cocktail things.
Hmm. No, actually, the CSIs and the NCISs and the Criminal Minds yeah, those all have spin-offs out the wazoo.
Yeah. Law and Orders.
Law and Order. How could I forget Law and Order?
Whenever I open up Paramount, Peacock, I don't know which streaming service it is. The first thing that confronts me every single time I open this app is Christopher Maloney.
Yeah.
Just beaten up. He's in Law and Order Mafia.
SVU. What?
No, he's in Mafia. Like he's in a spinoff now. He's in Law and Order, I think Organized Crime or something like that.
He's not. Is he still in SVU?
I don't think so.
Huh.
I think he left SVU a while ago, though, if I remember.
Oh, I don't.
That's always been Marichka's thing.
Bless you. Marichka, good day. Yeah. I think one of my biggest things with these reboots and spinoffs is that they discount the importance of the cast. They discount I guess the relationships that people build with these characters, and they also discount the timing. Because like you said with How I Met Your Mother was fine. That's why it ran for 10 seasons when it did. If it came out today, it would not hit the same way. It wouldn't have the same success because it's a timing thing. You have a spinoff that is loosely based on that show, but you don't have the people. You don't have the same characters. The people don't have the same emotional attachment to these new people, so it's not going to be the same thing. And you think that that's just built in and these people are going to give it a chance, but we don't. Like, time is your most precious commodity. It's the only thing that when you run out of it, it's gone. You're gone. So people
existential.
People aren't inclined to waste their time on something like this, trying to chase a feeling that they had before. And so I think that that's why in more recent years, there has been a turn away from that type of stuff, that there's been a turn away from reboots and reimaginings and whatevers you want to call them, spinoffs or spinoffs of a spinoff or anything like that, because just people do not want to waste their time with those things anymore.
Yeah. I think The existence of a spinoff is predicated on a couple of things. Either you are riding that like nostalgia train until you can establish your own voice and people forget that they're watching a whole separate show. That's when you throw in every cameo that you can think of. That's when you bring in Robin Scherbatsky and Barney Stinson. Or you try to make it so different that it's a completely separate thing and people are just like in it from the jump. But I don't think a lot of the showrunners put in any effort when it comes to the thing because it feels like it's just you get to kind of rest on your laurels and just rely on the original source material, and it's just it doesn't especially in a lot of, like, How I Met Your Mother or, like, Cheers and stuff, like, those kind of, like, hangout places, like Friends.
Mhm.
Like, you don't really get those anymore. People don't hang out as much as they maybe did in the '90s or the early 2000s in the same booth at a bar or the same couch in a coffee shop. Like, the thing that made all of these relationships between the characters so rich was the thing that doesn't really exist anymore.
Mhm.
And so a lot of them try to like overcorrect and try to make it like, remember how long ago this show was? What if we brought it into the modern age? So the thing that they're dealing with is Bitcoin instead of uh, like in the Futurama reboot, they have an episode about Bitcoin in the new season, which annoyed the hell out of me, honestly. Because it was just like the whole season felt like they were trying to pander to 2024, 23, whatever year it came out, people.
Wouldn't Bitcoin have been around for quite some time?
That's that's why that one annoyed me. The Futurama reboot was just it felt like it was trying to modernize, but the whole point of the show is that it's 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
Like it's not present day things that you're mining Bitcoin in the old west.
So silly. I feel like if these studios gave these ideas an ounce more of thought, they would maybe move on to something a little more creative and less lazy. But maybe not, because I mean they still get their money. People still talk about these, and even if you're talking about it in a negative light, engagement is engagement.
Yeah.
So remember that for anyone on.
No. Absolutely not. Don't promote that one.
I'm saying from the creative standpoint, engagement is engagement. People are going to say what people are
Sure.
going to say. So if you are the creator and someone says some things that are not too kind, just remember engagement is engagement.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can just ignore them, because that usually makes those people mad. Oh, why don't you say anything? Why don't you say anything back? You don't have anything to say back, do you?
I exist in the real world, unfortunately. Or at least in this part of the simulation.
Yeah. In my humble opinion, the great, not the great, the GOAT. I did two things. I was going to use the acronym and then I was going to say it all the time. The greatest to do it, the best to take a swing and knock it out of the park and 3 towns over, was Better Call Saul.
Okay.
Breaking Bad was a great show. It was definitely a show of its time. I don't think that it would work now. But during its heyday, it was like peak television. And I think a lot of people consider it like the first entry in no, because that would be like HBO. I guess outside of like HBO shows that throw millions and millions of dollars per episode, I think that Breaking Bad was like the first entry into like prestige television.
Okay.
And like movie level storytelling in a TV show. And in that show, Saul Goodman is a character that you want to know more about because you don't get much information. He comes in and then you just see where it all ends for Walter, but you don't see where it all ends for Saul. And you get that in Better Call Saul, but not just that. You also get backstories of these other characters and how they enter into the story long before they meet Walter White. And it is such a well-made show that I would have no problem saying that Better Call Saul is a way better show than Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad loses its grasp towards the end. Like, the whole reason that he's doing this is the reason he starts making and selling drugs is to provide for his family once he's diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. And then, like, halfway through the first season, that's just out the window, and now he's just doing it because he loves the game.
Yeah.
But with Better Call Saul, you know who he is throughout the whole thing, and you see him slowly progress. And then at the end, he comes back around and he realizes the missteps he took on his path. And at the end, he finally pays for his sins. Unlike Walter, who never did. He just died. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that show, it's been off the air for like 11, 12 years.
I need to get back into Better Call Saul. It was a really good show. I don't remember why I didn't finish it. Like, I made it maybe like 2 seasons in.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's a really good show. Bob Odenkirk does a great job.
He does. He does. And so not only do you see him change slowly throughout it, but you also see the external factors that caused him to be the way that he is, like his brother Chuck, one of the biggest a-holes on TV. And yeah, it definitely check it out.
Well, definitely. I'll have to get back into it. I've been in a kind of vacuum for shows right now because I think I have like 2 episodes left of Common Side Effects, which is the one I'm watching now, but it's not going to have another season for it's an HBO show, so probably not for like 2 more.
What is that?
So Common Side Effects is it's an animated show about a guy who finds essentially like a cure-all mushroom in the Peruvian forest. And he's getting hunted down by different like players in Big Pharma.
Oh.
Not
He's not. Yeah.
Oh, no, the Arañas.
Arañas, sorry.
Not the spider people from Mad Web.
Oh, okay. Dang it. Thought there was a crossover.
Not yet, at least. Maybe later. But no, it's a new Mike Judge show, which actually does bring me to one of the better spin-offs, or a better reboot, I think, which is the new King of the Hill.
Yeah? Still haven't checked it out.
It's good. I like it.
Need to.
It, I think, does the same thing that Futurama did, which is kind of the nail in the coffin for a lot of spin-offs, which is the, like, you're trying to modernize, but you're trying a little too hard.
Yeah.
So much so that you're not actually creating plot. You're just trying to, like, catch the audience up on what's been happening to these characters in this time frame.
Yep.
And so I think it works better with King of the Hill because the whole point of Hank Hill from the get-go was that he is this old-fashioned man.
Mm-hmm.
And it works that he's in 2025 and doesn't really understand anything about 2025. It did take a couple episodes, I think, to get its feet under it, but it's a pretty solid show. I like the new season.
Let's check it out. I was very hesitant when they announced it. And that was always one of those shows like on lists for wish lists of shows to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Was always King of the Hill. And I don't know. I'll check it out and report back, but don't have high hopes for it. I still don't. I mean, I think that it could be like, I don't think that it's going to be something that I'm just going to turn off,
Yeah.
but I don't think that I would enjoy it as much as the original series
I think,
seasons.
yeah. I mean, it's impossible, I think, for any reboot or spinoff to capture exactly what was great about the original,
Yeah.
because you can't really successfully do that without either doing that thing where you lean too hard into the original IP, and so you're just pandering to people with nostalgia bait, or you are creating something like, if you have a different voice in it, then it's gonna create something different from the original, and if you can kind of expect that and
Hmm.
lower your expectations for it to be the same as the OG, then it's easier to enjoy things, but it's also it depends on how it's handled by the people who make it.
Yeah. And the release of that was marred by all the stuff that went down with Jonathan. I don't remember his last name.
It starts with
The
a
guy
J.
that voiced Jonathan Redcorn.
Mhm.
That's a weird story. I don't know if there's any resolution on it. I mean, that was like what, probably 6 months ago back.
No, it was more recent
5.
than that. It was a couple months ago. Jonathan Joss.
Yes. June 1st, 2025.
Yeah. I know this is not the point of anything, but I recognize him more as Ken Hotate than
From Parks
as
and Rec.
Jonathan Redcorn. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that that's more because you actually saw him. There wasn't a
Sure.
voice. But if you close your eyes, then he sounds just like John Redcorn. And that allows me to springboard into the main reason for this episode. Because at the beginning of September 2025, there will be a show debuting called The Paper. And I could not be less excited for it. I've
I
seen the previews now. I hadn't at first, but I just happened to see it and sat through it, and I don't know who it's for, what it's for, why it's for. I don't get it.
I don't think that I could rewatch The Office. And I think, like, as far as the original goes, I don't think that I could rewatch it, and I don't know if that's because I watched it maybe too much when I was younger, or that the fandom has ruined it, or the people who made it and are still, "Hey, what if Stanley was in this Cheerios commercial?" Like, these people still exist as their characters despite the show having ended 12 years ago.
Which is funny because Dwight
Longer than that?
Rainn Wilson uh, talks about how people will like walk up to him and say, "Dwight," and he was like, "That was a character I played
Yeah.
X amount of years ago. Like I've done other things, so maybe give those a try." But meanwhile, you have all these auxiliary characters like Meredith and Oscar and uh,
Angela?
Angela,
Angela.
yeah, doing a AT&T commercial,
Mhm.
working in an office. And this is like a recent thing. It's like from the past couple of years.
It's so oversaturated despite having ended so long ago that I don't care anymore. I
Yeah.
used to love that show.
Well, the show, the paper, take away the fact that it's just the office people working at a newspaper.
BuzzFeed.
It the show just doesn't have anything. And can't if you can't get a rough idea of what a show is going to be like when you watch an entire trailer for that show, that's not a good start. That's not a good thing. And The Office already had a spinoff. It's called Parks and Rec.
That's
That's the
is that
same
a
exact
spinoff?
show.
Oh, Sure, but that's
Same
more. It's the same
writers.
thing. It's the twin films, not a.
But these are twin films by the same people.
That's fair.
So in all, it is 100% a spinoff. Whether the people of Pawnee, Indiana, bring up Scranton, Pennsylvania, or not, or say, "Hey,
That's fair.
yeah, I
I'll give
just
you
went
that.
and bought a ream at Dunder Mifflin, Pawnee." But I still don't know, and part of it was probably me just being so put off with the fact that this show was being made in the first place. But I don't know what the show's about, and they got the dude from Star Wars, General Cux.
Donald Gleason.
Yeah. And yeah, I
The
mean,
Italian lady from White Lotus. And Oscar for some reason. Just Oscar.
she's like the one with the mole lady, the manager.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
She's the Michael Scott of the new show.
oh,
She's
okay.
I'm pretty sure, at least that was the gist that I got from the preview. Are you going to be watching it just like out of curiosity, or are you just going to skip it entirely?
I'll watch the first episode just because I don't think it wouldn't be fair for me to come on here and say this show is going to be shit and not give it a try so that I can come back and confirm that the show is in fact shit.
Sure. Yeah.
So I will give it the first episode, maybe the second, and then I would feel that I would probably be done with it at that point.
That's a fair assessment. I think you have to give all of these things at least a couple of episodes to see if they find their footing or not.
Yeah.
If they're trying to be their own show or if it's just pandering.
Can I give you a list of other upcoming projects and tell me what your interest level is?
What is your scale for my interest level?
I don't know. We'll make it easy. 1 to 5.
1 to 5. 1 to 5 what? I need a unit.
1 to 5.
Reams of paper?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you like it, you're going to give it 5 reams of paper.
All right. What do you got?
All right. Malcolm in the Middle. Life's
0
still
reams of paper.
unfair. 0 reams?
The entire point of the show was that he was a preteen teenager.
Yeah. Huh?
I don't need to know what he's up to these days.
He
Especially
also
the background of Malcolm in the Middle is so sad because Frankie Muniz was going through some things.
he was also never the middle child.
This is
So
true. There was no middle child. Weren't there 4 of them?
there was 4
It's
of
been a
them
long
from
time
the
since the
beginning of the
show.
series.
Yeah.
And then I think they had 1 more. So then Reese would no. No, then
Then it would be Malcolm.
then he would be the middle. Yeah. So we started I've never really sat down and watched it, but we started watching it with the kids, and that was the first thing I picked up on. Like,
Yeah.
this is called Malcolm in the Middle because he's got like middle child syndrome, but he's not the middle child.
But he kind of is because the oldest one doesn't live with them. So he's not really like a factor in the parenting dynamics. That's not.
I guess. Yeah, if you want to look at it that way, like, but I don't know. I mean, when the series starts, Reese had just not Reese, whatever the oldest one's name is, had just recently been sent to military school.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't enough time there for him to have middle child syndrome.
Yeah, that does make sense though, because that's the inciting incident of the show. That's when he becomes the middle child. The beginning of the show is him being the middle child.
Maybe I just misunderstood. I don't know.
Then he becomes the actual middle child, and they have a 5th one.
Maybe. You might be right. You probably are. I don't know. It threw me off. The show's decent enough. But
1
the
ream
mom-
of paper. They're not
the mom-
bringing back Bryan Cranston. I can't imagine.
I don't know. They did shoot something. Um, uh, it was like a auxiliary thing for Breaking Bad, to where he wakes up next to Lois, saying that he had this terrible dream where he got cancer and he had to make drugs in order to support the family, and so I don't know. Breaking Bad could technically be in the Malcolm in the Middle universe. And then Dewey
Okay.
grows up to be Jesse Pinkman. Maybe. I don't know. So you're gonna give it a one. You're gonna give it one ream.
I'm gonna give it 1.
Okay.
Not excited for this one.
What about a series based on Legally Blonde? After it got a sequel, and then another terrible sequel, and then a Broadway musical, and now a TV series. How do you feel about that? How many reams?
I feel like this game is going to end up in a lot of ones. That said, if there is the involvement of either Reese Witherspoon or Jennifer Coolidge, then I'm going to give it 2.
In what capacity? If it's just a brief cameo?
If they have actual involvement in the plot. If it's the same as like a Hey, remember Elle Woods, then no.
Isn't Jennifer Coolidge busy with like season 19 of White Lotus?
Have you seen White Lotus?
I haven't seen the most recent season.
She won't be involved in the future one.
Oh my God, spoilers!
Say why?
Wow. Because she fake drowned in season 3, right? And they came back for season 4. She fake drowned in Italy after bonking her noggin. And then came back
I
for
forgot. There's
the Walton Goggins season.
she's not in the Walton Goggins season.
Are you sure?
Watch it and find out.
Okay.
I don't like the Walton Goggins season. I
No?
don't like the Thailand hotel.
Do you like Walton Goggins?
I do.
My birthday is coming up.
Awful
I could
baby
use
Achilles.
I could use a Tingus shirt.
A what?
A Tingus shirt. Tingus. Teenage Jesus. Tingus. Have you not watched Righteous Gemstones?
No, we've talked about this extensively.
Oh,
I've still
man.
not watched the Righteous Gemstones.
Watch it. The kids are going to do a rendition of Misbehavin' at the wedding.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. With
I
your
have
girl.
heard that song too many times.
Yeah. What about Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Did you give
I
me a
would be more
ream
inclined
count
to
for
watch that
Legally
one.
Blonde?
2.
Two reams. Okay. Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
3. I really enjoyed the OG Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I like Angel Okay.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see what they do with a reboot. That said, I did just watch the reboot, sequel, whatever you would consider it, of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it stunk.
The bee's oh.
It stunk.
Well, that's a bummer. Right now, you can get a skin pack on Call of Duty for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll be sure to let the people in my life who play Call of Duty know.
is Nate a COD man?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Me too.
Not so much these days, I don't think. He's been into
Battlefield.
we did Battlefield for a while. WoW for a bit.
Wow.
There's apparently I don't remember the name of it, but there's a like SWAT simulator game that just came out. That's
Guess we know who he voted for. Oh. What about Clueless?
1.
As if. One?
1.
One ream. No interest?
The OG premise is weird. Like, if you think about it, it's a romance between a girl and her stepbrother.
I've never
And
seen it. I've never had any interest in it, but I know that it was sure popular. That's weird.
Yeah.
That is a main plot point in
So
the movie.
yeah, Alicia Silverstone ends up with Paul Rudd, who is her stepbrother.
Oh, How do the parents feel about that?
They they
On board?
kiss in the end of the movie, so I don't think that it's like a. I don't think they have enough time to establish familial dynamics afterwards, but it's an odd choice.
Oh, that would be worth a sequel. The fallout
Yeah,
from
maybe.
the step siblings falling in love. I knew a guy I worked
I already
with
don't like where this is going.
that yeah, he she ended up pregnant. For some reason it didn't work out. Yeah, he was disowned by the family. So I would say, just my opinion here, maybe don't get with your stepsister. Definitely don't have a kid, and cannot imagine what those family dynamics are like.
Yeah. I looked it up because it's been a while since I've seen Clueless. Apparently, Josh is, which is Paul Rudd, is Alicia Silverstone's ex stepbrother who is back from college.
Okay, better, but also not.
But they're living in the same house.
Hmm.
I'm not going to rewatch the movie, but
Weird.
the dynamic feels off. Cher and Josh were not close to each other as siblings, and this perceived lack of a familial bond is the key reason why many viewers don't find their eventual romance problematic.
Oh, okay, well,
If you have to qualify with they weren't close as siblings, you have lost the argument. What are you doing?
huh. That is something. Last one I have
So
on
yeah,
this list is little HP himself, Harry Potter. Lots of
4.
hot opinions about this. 4?
4.
4 because you want to see the train wreck, you want to see the carnage, or 4 because you're actually interested in what they will do with the series.
Little column A, little column B.
Mm.
I think because the stakes are so high with Harry Potter IP. Granted, they did absolutely fumble with the Hogwarts Legacy game. But I think because they have such a high responsibility and high expectations around it, that they're probably going to put more effort into its creation. I've also seen a good deal of the casting so far, and I really appreciate that it's not just a slew of all of these actors who haven't done anything since Harry Potter, just reprising their roles.
Mm-hmm.
There's Warwick Davis, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was Professor Flitwick is coming back. But the kid casting looks good. I remember seeing something about Daniel Radcliffe asking him how he felt about it and if he was going to be a part of it. And he's like, no, I'm excited to get to pass the torch. This is their thing. It's not mine anymore. And I do really appreciate that. There doesn't seem to be quite as much of that just fan service nostalgia bait.
What about rage bait?
I think that anything that comes out of a J.K. Rowling IP these days is going to be to some extent rage bait.
Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm
it?
talking about when the first thing that they announced was the casting for Snape.
I don't remember. Who is Snape?
You could give me 1,000 tries and I couldn't pronounce his name. But let me try. Asiadu? Hip, hip, hip,
Oh,
hip,
okay.
hip, hop,
I know what you're talking about.
bottom. Yeah. That was rage bait. And people took it hook, line, and sinker. It was meant to get people talking about this show.
Yeah.
One thing that also came out was Chris Columbus, who did the first 2, and just I guess one of like the greatest actors we've ever had. We have a whole day dedicated to him. He
We don't have that anymore, so we don't
well
celebrate the works of Chris Columbus
his
these days.
his name is not Indigenous Peoples.
Yeah, so we don't celebrate anymore. I don't recognize him as a real holiday.
He came out. He saw the wardrobe for Nick Frost as Hagrid, and he was like, "That's just the same costume that we had in our movies. Like, I'm not sure what all this is for, even though he knows it's for money." But yeah, I mean that's the sentiment that I have is just who asked for this and who was this for? I mean, I think there's probably a subset of people that will say, well, there's just so much from the books that they couldn't put in the movies. So now they can do that. But you know what? They're still not going to.
You're about to irritate one of our listeners.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think a lot of the reason that I'm interested in seeing what they do with this is because it is near and dear to my household. It has become a holiday tradition to watch the Harry Potter films. And because honestly, with the success of the Percy Jackson reboot, because I really love the way that they handled it, partially because of how poorly they handled the movies, I think that this one has the opportunity to do something really cool. Will it? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But I am interested to see what they decide to do with it.
I would much rather see a series around Potter Puppet Pals. If they could do all 7 books.
Severus Snape.
Dumbledore.
Snape. Severus Snape.
Ron Weasley. If they could do all 7 books like that, I'd be all about a show. But no one's asking for my opinions. I got great ideas and no one's coming to my door.
Yeah. I mean, you could make your own Potter Puppet Pals. I don't imagine the production costs are all that high.
Yeah, but how much do I have to pay to get the IP?
Do something similar. Also, with Neil C. Sariga, I don't imagine a ton.
There are some wild pictures when you type in Black Snape on Google. So 4 reams.
4 reams.
Yeah, I would give it a 2.
Yeah.
All these other ones, I mean, I would probably give Malcolm in the Middle 3, but all these other ones, I would give no reams of paper whatsoever.
Yeah. There's going to be a spinoff to the Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, it's called Young Sheldon. Where you been? You're talking about the one with like the comic book guy and
They're giving
like,
Stewart his own show.
I think he's like one of the main cast. Yeah, it's like 4 auxiliary characters that are getting their own show for some reason. Last thing I have is shows that had multiple iterations, multiple spinoffs off of one existing. What would you find out?
The Untitled spinoff is currently in the works with Brian Posen, Lauren Lapkus, and Kevin Sussman.
Yeah.
Which are Stewart and the girl he maybe ends up with, and the giant geologist dude who maybe ruined Nickelback for all of society.
Yeah.
How back.
So have fun with that one. Shows that have multiple spinoffs off one initial show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Saved by the Bell was a spinoff?
No, of what?
It was a completely different format. It was called Good Morning Miss Bliss. It had Zach, but I think that's where the similarities ended. But that same character went to Saved by the Bell, and then Saved by the Bell had Saved by the Bell the college years, and then Saved by the Bell the new class.
Okay.
We already talked about all the NCIS, CSI, Law and Orders, and
shows, yeah.
every spinoff there. But the granddaddy of them all, Happy Days. Did you know there were 255 episodes of Happy Days?
I did not.
You want to know how many? Take a guess at how many spinoffs it had. Like genuine spinoffs, not like
Directly
one-offs.
from
Yeah.
8.
Close. 6. 2 of them were animated. The 2 animated ones, the Fonz and the Happy Days gang. And then
Which is just Archie?
I guess, yeah. Laverne and Shirley with the Fonz was also animated. But the live action spinoffs were Laverne and Shirley, Lansky's Beauties, which I've never heard of, Mork and Mindy, Joni Loves Chachi, and did I get a typo on this one? Because that doesn't sound right. No, Out of the Blue. No clue what that is either. I mean, growing up, we caught some episodes of Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy. I don't think we ever watched Joni Loves Chachi, and these other 2 I've never heard of.
Yeah.
But do you have any fondness for Happy Days?
I remember, so like I watched a lot of TV with our parents growing up. And so I watched a lot of the like older things. I remember a ton of like Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie,
Gilligan's
Island kind of things. Yeah.
I Love Lucy.
And so like, oh yeah, I was a massive fan of I Love Lucy. I remember in that watching Happy Days too. Happy Days and like All in the Family, Married with Children, all that stuff. But like I don't remember anything specific about it. So it wasn't one of the ones that really stuck around like Gilligan's Island or I Love Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know its cultural impact.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching episodes, being relatively like way young, and still like hearing our parents talk about like the Fonz and how great he was and how cool he was, and I was just like, this, what?
Or you could hit a jukebox and it would start playing anything. You telling me that's not the epitome of cool?
One of my favorite scenes in one of the earlier Family Guys, it might have been season 1, was him going. He has the Church of the Fonz. He punches the jukebox and his hand goes right through, and he just starts spewing blood everywhere. But I mean, it's a product of its time, because that whole persona just doesn't work for me. And so much of the show is focused on the Fonz, Arthur Fonzarelli, being like the coolest guy that ever lived.
All you needed was a leather jacket and to say "a" lot. And that just
And
made you the coolest.
A
Hang around
switchblade
gingers.
comb. Yeah. But no, I think the biggest takeaway from that was, one, that it had 6 individual spinoffs, and 2, that it ran for 255 episodes.
Do you think that the term "jumping the shark" is still like a part of the zeitgeist? Like, I feel like I've used it, but I couldn't tell you the last time that I've actually.
I don't know what it
Like,
would have
thought
been
about that
replaced by.
I mean, I would imagine would have just like fallen out. There wouldn't have been really a one-to-one.
Well, but what would you replace that situation by? Like, what would you say it is? Like when something gets so big and oversaturated that they have to create crazy plots in order just to have something to escalate to.
Well, I mean, the point of jumping the shark was that you get. I thought the point of jumping the shark was the same as like jumping the gun, essentially, that you just went like ahead of.
No.
No.
No, jumping the shark is that when you get so big and there's nowhere else to go to, that the new level you have to go to is so ridiculous that that's your dying off point.
So, something near and dear to both of our hearts, I think the alternative to jumping the shark is Flanderization.
Yes.
There
Okay,
is
yeah.
a good bit of study behind what happened with The Simpsons. In specifically the characters of Homer and Ned. With Homer, it's this kind of stark contrast of OG Homer to new Homer, where he did stupid things because he's an idiot, but he didn't do anything with malice. He just did a bunch of things that ended up negatively affecting the people that he loves. And so he spends the back half of every episode trying to make up for the fact that he did something stupid on accident.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, he just does stupid, mean things to his family because it doesn't seem like he cares about them or their
Yeah.
well-being anymore. For the same reason that, like, Flanderization, he was this, like, at the beginning, this well-rounded, like, very devout person, but he had a whole family, a whole personality, a whole existence outside of his belief in God.
He was a straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
So,
had the Leftorium, he had Mod, he had all of this stuff, and then eventually it just became a caricature of a Christian. And he lost
yes.
every bit of his personhood so that he could be this foil to Homer's shenanigans.
Yeah, fanatic. Obsessed in the same way Homer is obsessed with like self-serving tasks. That was the same fervor that Flanders would put into judging everyone because of his belief, because of Christianity, and holding himself in higher esteem because he was a Christian and all these other people weren't, and schooling or Reverend Lovejoy to the point where Reverend Lovejoy just wants nothing to do with him and gets annoyed every time he has to have any conversations with him. So no, yeah, I mean, you get up to a point, and then once you get to that pinnacle, there's nowhere to go but down. And it just so happened that whatever episode towards the end of Happy Days, there was a plot point where Arthur the Fonzarelli was on skis on a lake and had went up a ramp over some sharks and survived, and that I don't know what was the lead up and what was the outcome to the jumping the shark moment, but I don't think most people care because all they hear is that the dude in a leather jacket
Wasn't
water
even in, like, a
skiing.
leather wetsuit?
No, it was a full leather jacket, water skiing over some sharks. And at the end of the day, the reasoning for it doesn't really matter because all people remember about it is the jumping the shark, and then that became its own thing, and the reason for the term being used so prevalently now, or maybe not now. Maybe everything is just Flanderized now. But speaking of a nice little bow for the end of this episode, The Simpsons was a spinoff of the Tracy Ullman Show.
Mm-hmm.
And she tried to sue The Simpsons, and it did not work. I think they actually ended up coming to terms out of court. But yeah, she was pretty pissed when they had success long after her show was over because it started out as a short on the Tracy Ullman Show.
But, man, if she had won that court case,
She'd be rolling in it. Maybe
she'd be rolling in it.
just take 0.5% of the merchandise profit
Mm-hmm.
and be set for life.
For sure. Even these days, it's insane what they're capitalizing on.
Yep. Well, you got anything else to add?
I do, actually. One little decent sized tangent. Do you know who Tommy Westfall is?
Is that from Saint
Yes.
Elsewhere? Yes.
Yep. Are you familiar with the extended Tommy Westfall universe?
With the autism and the snow globe?
Yes.
Yes. But for those not in the know, could you please explain?
So this is the king of all spinoffs. Tommy Westfall is in. Well, let me pull up the thing because I have it in front of me. In the show's final episodes, the final episode of Saint Elsewhere, it's revealed to the viewers that everything in the show had happened in Tommy Westfall's snow globe. The twist raised the possibility that the entire series was a dream, but because Saint Elsewhere crossed over with other television shows like Cheers and Homicide: Life on the Streets, those are also considered a part of Tommy's imaginary world. So by extension, if Cheers is connected to Frasier, Frasier is connected to Wings, then those shows are also included. Detective John Munch, who originated in Homicide, makes an appearance in Law and Order, X-Files, and The Wire, which means that there's just this like massive interconnected web of TV shows that all, by extension, exist inside of Tommy Westfall's snow globe at the end of Saint Elsewhere. If you pull that thread as far as it goes, there is an absolutely insane amount of gray area. The final takeaway is somewhere between 200 shows and 450 to 500 shows that are all inside of the snow globe, which I believe the basis for the simulation theory. But no, it's a really interesting theory. If you go into, there's a like family tree kind of thing where it branches off all of the shows that come from this snow globe. It's actually pretty interesting. I won't go into all 200 to 500 shows, but
That is, it's fun. It's funny because the ending on its own just feels like a give up. Like, okay, how are we going to end this series? How are we going to end this series? Okay, just spitballing here. So, kid Tommy, autistic. We can make up whatever rules we want with that because it's the 90s. No one knows what autism means. He has a snow globe. We slowly, last scene of the show, we slowly pan out from the set. Pan out, pan out, pan out. Boom. It was all in the snow globe. Cut to black. And then someone said, I have nothing better. So I guess that's what we'll do.
someone else on the spectrum.
And then it turned out to be like this massive thing that is still being talked about because of this one throwaway idea that they decided to go with because they didn't have anything else. And I've never seen Saint Elsewhere. I know that Denzel was on it for a little while, like a lot of bigger people. And yeah, the only thing I can tell you is about Tommy Westfall and his autistic snow globe.
If you have an idea, if you have something original working around in your brain, do your best to make it. We need more original things. It's ridiculous what we're up against these days. If you have a weird idea, everything is someone's thing. Make your weird thing.
Take a risk.
Within reason.
Take a risk.
Not a blanket endorsement.
It's better to take a risk and it pay off than play it safe and be creatively bankrupt. That's my thing for the week.
I'm glad we came around on that one.
All right. And with that, make sure that you check us out on Instagrams, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at Cash Exchange Pod. If you want to send us an email and yell at us there, cashexchangepod@gmail.com. And we would greatly appreciate a follow, maybe some likes coming our way.
Possibly subscription if you're...
Or subscribe. I mean, it costs you nothing. And it helps us. Helps us do what we do. So it was a solid. And with that,
And with that,
we'll see ya.
peace out, Girl Scouts.